Lesson 7. Now we're going to look at the calculations of all the properties of the quadrilaterals we have done in the previous lesson. And let's start then with this one, and let's make the statement that this figure that we do have here is a quadrilateral. Yes, closed circuit, 4 sides. But this kind of quadrilateral, I would like to refer to it as a parallelogram. And inside this parallelogram given, I would like to call this angle here, let's first write it, angle A. Let's go clockwise this time. B, angle B, angle C, and call that angle D. And the interior angle of A, I would like to refer to it as 110 degrees. And perhaps angle D, I would like to refer to it as x plus 10 degrees. That's the only information given to me. Now, guys, let's first look at the properties of this parallelogram, the quadrilateral. I do know first all the properties that the opposite sides of a parallelogram must be parallel. That's the symbol. Therefore, that side also then parallel. I also know that the opposite sides equal lengths. But the one I'm interested in now, because we are working with angles, I'm going to say that the opposite angles are equal. Because we are working with angles, this one is for me important. That means opposite angles will be the same. So let's take a pencil now and let's fill in the information now. So if that A is 110, it means that angle C also have to be 110 degrees. If D is x plus 10, it means that B also got to be x plus 10 degrees. Guys, what have you note? First, I'm looking at the sketch, the figure itself, and I first get hold of all the properties of that particular figure. I put it in, get used to my figure, and then, only then, I can start with my calculation to answer everything I need to know in that regard. Now, if I'm going to look at this one down here now, I'm going to say fair enough, statement, and reason. I would like to start with my first statement here, where I get to say one of the properties of any quadrilateral four-figure closed must be angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D. The interior angles must be all equal together to be 360 degrees. And my reason for that again, the sum of the angles interior of A. Now guys, we're not going to write parallelogram, we're going to refer to a parallelogram as a palm. There we go, palm must be equal to be 360 degrees. But there's a very important statement now that we have to make. But we do know that the opposite angles, where I'm going to say now that angle A must be equal to angle C, must then be equal to be 110 degrees. The other one also, and I can say also that angle D equals to angle B must be equal to be x plus 10 degrees. And remember, a reason for that, of course, is my opposite angles of a palm, of a parallelogram, Opposite angles of a parallelogram is the same. Now I'm going to do my substitution. Therefore, I can make the statement now. Angle A. Angle A got the value of 110 degrees plus angle B, according to the sketch and my statements, I'm going to say that angle B is x plus 10 degrees plus angle C is 110 degrees. Angle D plus x plus 10 degrees. And I know that all that got to be equal to 360 degrees. Therefore, I'm going to add all that, 110, 110, 10, 10. That total is going to give me something like 240 degrees. Plus 2x, x plus x, likewise terms, equals to be 360 degrees. Take the 240 to the right hand side, I'm going to be left with 2x equals to be 360 degrees minus 240 degrees. Therefore 2x going to give me a value then of 120 degrees. On the left, divide with a 2. On the right, divide with a 2. Therefore, x going to give me an answer then by 60 degrees. Guys, if we follow the properties of a quadrilateral, then suddenly my calculation become easier and it's not difficult then to follow the information. Example 2. Right guys, let's see what is given here and what I need to determine. So let's call this one this time angle A, and because it's having two parts I can refer to it as number 1 and number 2. Let's go this time a little bit anti-clockwise. So angle A, call this one then angle B, angle C, angle D. And let's refer to this one to angle E, and because there are two parts in that angle, I'm going to call that one 1 and that one 2. Let's look at a little bit of information perhaps I would like to put in here. Let's call this one perhaps given to be 50 degrees. And I see that we have a triangle on the left hand side. Oh, beautiful. So we have a triangle and we have a parallelogram. So it's 2 in 1. And let's call it perhaps that side equal to that side. And that makes it immediately to be an isosceles triangle. And then I think it was lesson 6, the properties of an isosceles triangle. We'll come to that now. And perhaps let's call this one then x. And let's call this angle 115 degrees. Let's call that one there perhaps to be determined y. So what must I do? Determine x and y. Let's start with all the information first. Statement and reason. Guys, and then you know me, I like to take my pencil and then I just start getting familiar with my sketch. Because I have mentioned now that this triangle is an isosceles triangle, then I know that the base angles of an isosceles triangle must be the same. Equal angles, opposite, equal sides. And that's the important one I need to do. So therefore, if that's a x, that base angle also have to be a x down there. Then I also know that in a quadrilateral, the property of a parallelogram is that the opposite angles must be the same. Therefore, that one then there also got to be then equal to the value of x, whatever it's going to be. Then I also see that this angle 115 degrees, the opposite, must be in total those two together. Right, now I understand my sketch. Let's start with a triangle first. Let's see if we can find the answer. So I would like to start by making my statement here, where I would like to say in triangle A, B, E. What's going to happen now in that triangle is this. I'm going to say angle A, and it's not just any angle, it is angle A1 plus angle B plus angle E1. And the property of a triangle is that the interior angles must be equal to 180 degrees. And my reason again for that is the sum of the angles interior of a triangle equal to be 180 degrees. But I have another scenario here in the isosceles where I can say but angle B must then be equal to angle E1, and it must be then equal to the value of x. And remember that the angles are opposite. Opposite where? Opposite equal sides. Opposite equal sides. Now, I must replace that information now. So I'm interested in this part here. So I'm going to say angle A, therefore, angle A1 plus angle B. And now in the place of E, I'm going to replace it. Angle E becomes now also an angle B, equals to be 180 degrees. Now the value of angle A1 given at the sketch is 50 degrees. And now I'm having two angle B's. Let me just put it. Two angle B's equals to be 180 degrees. Therefore, take the 50 to the right hand side, or minus 50 on the left, minus 50 on the right. I'm going to have now 180 degrees minus 50 degrees, and that's going to leave me now a value, therefore 2b, let me just put it in quickly. I'm going to have a value now of 130 degrees. Then I say divide 2 on the left, divide 2 on the right, so it looks to me that angle B, I must not forget the symbol down there, is going to give me a value of 65 degrees. And what do I do as soon as I have it? I take my pencil and I substitute. Oh guys, this is very important. Substitute your information immediately. So I put it in there. That guy there is going to give me then 65 degrees. It means that that angle there also to be 65. And that one there also then to be 65 degrees. Very important information down there what I've just, so I can continue now there, equals also to angle D. Now I'm back in the parallelogram where I know that the opposite angles must be the same. Right, that one is done, and I'm going to try my best to rule it off as straight as possible. Right, it looks fair enough. Now I'm going to be back in the parallelogram where I'm going to say the opposite angles. So therefore angle C must be equal. And what is the total opposite? It's going to become angle A1 plus angle A2. And that, of course, is going to give me the value of opposite angles of a palm parallelogram. Therefore, angle A, we have to set that angle A. Now, angle C is given to be 115 degrees, equals to be angle A, A1 given to be 50 degrees, and angle A1 is listed, angle A2 is listed to be y. Therefore, take the 50 to the left-hand side. It's going to be minus, or minus on the right-hand side, minus on the left-hand side. What I do left, I do right. I'm going to see that angle y is going to end up with the answer of something like 65 degrees. This will be my answer if I play it by the properties of a parallelogram. Yes, I do know that there are other ways as well to do it, but we have done it by the properties of a parallelogram. Now it's your turn to show me if you can get the values as asked. Guys, I'm going to give you two calculations. Remember the rules. First, you copy the sketch into your exercise book, your class book, of course. Then you take a pencil, you play with all the rules of the triangle or the parallelogram, equilateral, whatever it was given. First you find the answers on the sketch, and then thereafter you go over to the table, the statement, reason, two calculations. In my next lesson I will look at them again and I will try them, but before that time I really want you to give it your best and have fun. Remember, everything is every time. Enjoy and see if you can find all the properties of the figures every time given to you. Till later. Thank you very much.